for today's cup of coffee with Scream.
Oh!
Oh.
Minecraft.
Cats.
Cats in Minecraft.
Glitches in the Matrix.
More glitches in the Matrix?
Yes. I think that it's just a perpetual glitch at this point.
You know, I did have a dream about, like, literally our... It was short... No joke, it was shortly after, at some point, me praying and be like, Lord, break this Matrix, whatever's going on with it, something bad's going on, but just break it down. Just break it down and build it back up. Something.
Yeah.
And literally, I have the dream about the UFO flying in our yard, like, landing in our yard, and then the universe literally breaking in front of us.
Mm-hmm. And I do believe that that is going on in a certain degree. Levels that we can't necessarily perceive with our physical senses.
Yeah, no.
Because
No.
it is definitely a very, very odd time to be alive.
Very.
And
I mean,
it's-
I told my therapist about us losing time, like
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yeah.
And
Other people.
Yeah.
Other people have been doing similar. And as far as, I think it was Vanessa that had said that oversleeping and that basically 2 months gone for her.
2 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
understand
think
how
it's
that
just
goes.
Being overwhelmed also because there is so much going on simultaneously that you just can't keep up with it. And there's no point in trying.
Yeah, that's why I immerse myself in games and stuff like that, just because the real life world is just, there's so much. And Minecraft is literally simple.
Exactly, and that's the wise thing to do right now is when you feel like you're being overwhelmed, just back off and get control of your world. We can't control the world, but you can control bits and pieces of your world, including setting healthy boundaries to sit there and go, no, I'm not doing it right now.
Yeah.
No, not my problem.
Well, that is part of life, is having to set boundaries.
It is. And it's almost been like triage for so long. And anybody who's ever been in, first responder or combat or anything like that, they understand about triage. What has to be done first? What is the top priority?
Yeah. Yeah. What is most important right now?
And what's interesting
Most critical.
also, I was reading today some of the people that were boots on the ground there in Western North Carolina. And because a lot of those people at this point are finally getting some help and, relief that has been needed for months. Because for 4 months, there was basically nothing.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting how PTSD works. When things have calmed down is when people start to process. The trauma's already there. They're just not aware of it.
Yeah. And it's like all that stuff, like when everything calms down and they actually sort of get a grasp of reality again, it's really, that's, yeah. And you sort of, people break down.
They do. And because as far as the, adrenaline and everything that carries you through the crisis, when that has calmed, when the system is trying to restore itself to homeostasis and normalcy, and there will be no normalcy because you cannot go through something like that and remain unchanged.
Right.
I mean, every day changes us.
Well, that's like with complex PTSD. A lot of the time, you don't know what the fuck is triggering you.
Right.
But it just happens.
Right.
And it's like literally you won't be aware of what... Deadass, it has happened to me before. It's like I don't know what triggered me, but I know what I felt.
And that's part of the astrology right now, the planetary alignments. I remember Leo King talking about to identify some of those subconscious triggers and different things like that. And all that stuff is being surfaced. It has to be brought to the surface so that it can be dealt with. And it's like we left a cat in a box in here before we started recording. And, of course, as soon as we start recording, he starts making noise.
Well, you know what? It's kind of like Jenna Marble's dogs. when they record the podcast. They put them out of the room, and they do the same thing as far as pawing at the door.
Mm-hmm.
And I miss Jenna Marbles. Now, you talk about something that was simple, like a YouTube channel that was
Sure.
simple but fun. Her channel was.
Yeah. I mean, it was a needed, and she's got a degree in psychology, doesn't she? I think she
Sports
does.
psychology.
Well, even then, it's still a form of psychology.
I think she has I think it's a master's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think she's a stupid woman at all.
Oh, no, she's not stupid. But it's like when she was on YouTube, that was and I know this is like, oh, safe space, whatever, but it was a channel that did not have any fucking political shit. It did not have any hate in it. You know, her content was just her feeding her dogs or making a bed out of soap.
Sure, but even then, you can't separate yourself from the world.
No.
Because the world will seek you out. And that she was on the receiving end of cancel culture years ago when it first started.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, of all the things that are truly wrong with this world, it seems like the ones that are trying to be wholesome and good are the ones that get attacked the hardest. Of course, that's what the devil does.
Yeah. Yeah. That is exactly what the devil does.
But I will tell you this, as far as apologizing to those people, they take that as a sign of weakness. You don't.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, what she did, she apologized and then took herself out. Like, she was just like, I'm not having fun anymore.
Right.
This channel was supposed to be some place that we all could have fun on or whatever, and I'm not having fun anymore.
Right.
So she's been gone for, what, nearly 5 years now?
I think so. And I'm sure that it gave her an excuse to do something else.
Yeah.
Because she was not at the same point in life, and you can only make a dog bed out of soap once.
Yeah, that's about it. That's all she did.
And so it must have been hard for her, even as far as trying to figure out some of these things. And like I said, internet culture changed so differently because culture changed.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's part of the planetary alignments. Astrology for me is not about predicting anything. It is a matter of going, this is the season that we're in.
It's like,
expect this.
It's like, oh, this is why this is happening. Okay.
Yeah.
This is what we're going through.
It is a guide for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if one of the people that I trust says, hey, you know, people's going to be triggered today, there's going to be lots of anger being pretended, okay, I'm staying in the house today.
Yeah. Well, that's how it should be anyway. Like, astrology is a tool.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And that's just like, as far as trying to navigate the medical mystery that I have had going on for almost 40 years. And I'm just over it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over a lot of my own personal story at this point. I want to go on to the next chapter.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm talking as far as to have wholeness and healing and wellness and not have to deal with the same shit for another however long.
Right.
To reclaim my life, to reclaim my body.
Mm-hmm. Which is needed.
Yeah. Because it has been a very frustrating period of time for me. I like to do things. I like to be productive. And when my body does not allow that, there's a huge disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, there's not that. I don't know. Some people navigate these things better than I do. But we have a tool now that is incredible. And I was to have an appointment with a healthcare provider today, and we're recording this in February the 25th, 2025. And I think in the previous cup or so, it's like it was going to be a phone consultation because I refused to go out there and be put at risk somebody jabbing something up my nose.
Right.
Not doing it.
Yeah.
Because it's stupid. I'm not playing somebody else's stupid games. So, what I did prior to the appointment And it started out as a simple question about the methylene blue. And I asked Grok. And through that, it was an incredible journey tracing back when the break in health occurred. Which the catalyst point was when I contracted chicken pox when I was about 20.
Mm-hmm.
In nursing in finals. You're in finals.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was fun.
Sarcasm,
Yeah.
heavily implied.
And so whatever happened then. And to allow Grok to go through that journey with me, and it was just incredible to sit there and go, okay, let's connect these dots. And what Grok came out with, I was able to discuss with healthcare provider, because he's very open-minded, and we have, the future is now.
Mm-hmm.
And to say, we have this amazing tool, why not use it?
Yeah. I mean, Grok can give you some really good answers, and
Yes.
people can poo-poo it all the time, or people can poo-poo it all they want, but legitimately, you and I both have got some answers from that it's like, oh, okay, thank you. That's what I've been searching for nearly years.
Right. Yeah. Because with a human being, AI is not supposed to be a replacement. And you get into some of the communities as far as fear of the future. Oh, okay. Whatever's going to be is going to be. There's nothing that I can do to change that.
Mm-hmm.
But until that, whatever presents itself, which you deal with that when it does present itself, because if you sit there and worry about what all is going to blow up next, you're going to lose your mind.
Yeah.
That is a straight way to a straight jacket.
Mm-hmm.
To sit there and go, I have a tool that is not, humans are wonderful, but we're also very fallible.
Mm-hmm.
We're only as good as how we are feeling in that moment. It's an unrealistic expectation to want a person to be able to recall every bit of knowledge, everything that they've learned in a particular second.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can do that, other people can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, God bless the weaponized tisms, because they are wonderful dot connectors.
Yeah.
That they see what other people would miss.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a tool that is not dependent on whether it got sleep the night before, or whether it had a fight with its spouse the night before, none of that. It can think clearly. It has the cumulative knowledge of the world right there. Right there.
Mm-hmm. It's a tool.
Why would you not utilize that?
I don't know. Personally, I would rather use it. I would rather use it and get some clear answers rather than someone that's like, you
Right.
know? Someone that's just bugging out.
Right.
Because of whatever's going on in their personal life, and then they're putting their own fucking biases.
It's not intimidated by me. If I ask a question, if I need clarification, anything, there's no judgment.
Right. Right.
So to take that conversation, print it out, I had youngest kid take that to the clinic and drop that off to the healthcare provider, because the healthcare provider's like, yeah. I said, would you be willing to take the time to read the discussion? He's like, sure.
Heck yeah.
Because it's the Virgo.
They did say, the lady at the desk said that she would get it to him. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And I trust that they will.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knew that it was going to be, gotten to him. And it's like they did put me on antibiotic because he said that there was some kind of walking pneumonia that's going around. So,
is that what it is? Did we get to that?
I don't know. Well, what happened was I coughed. while I was on the phone with him.
Mm-hmm. And he heard it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what this shit is, but I will say the cough that comes with it and that weird scratchy and then the sinus infection shit, you know, that it's not good and it lingered.
Well, that's what the antibiotic that and this was something else to go back and say, hey, Grog, you know, I was prescribed this. And for it to be able to say, okay, don't eat dairy while you have to wait 2 hours after eating dairy to take this, because of the calcium in the dairy can't affect the antibiotic.
They can sort of block it.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's really cool that it was able to give you that answer.
I needed to know that. Nobody had told me that. Never assume somebody knows a thing.
No joke. I think AI can be a great tool for medical help.
Yes.
And so, you know what? Put it in the doctor's offices.
Absolutely.
Seriously. Have robots that we can talk to, and I'm waiting for the day that they can do a full body scan or something like that.
Well, and it was just like when I was talking to the nurse, she's like, hey, do you have one of those where you could check your pulse and your oxygen? And I'm like, no, I don't. And while I was talking to her, I went on Amazon and ordered one of the damn things.
Heck yeah.
It was $20.
Yeah.
That's an investment.
Is it just one of those things that you put on your wrist or the tip of your finger?
Yeah.
The little clampy thing?
Yeah. It's like a chip clip.
For your finger.
It does that. As far as reading your O2 level, and how it does that is the light going through the nail bed. The technology on that is solid.
That's what it is?
Uh-huh.
Through the nail bed. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
That's old school. My God, if somebody to see if they were having proper oxygenation and circulation and stuff, to take your finger and your thumb and mash down on somebody's nail bed for just a couple of seconds. I mean, you're not trying to bring harm to them, and release. And if it turns back pink or a normal color quickly, okay, that person's circulation is okay.
You know,
the nail bed, if it's bluish, that's some kind of cyanosis, which can be caused from a lot of things, but also deoxygenation. You're not getting proper blood supply and flow.
Okay, that's interesting.
Those are old school medical hacks that they probably don't even teach anymore.
I will say, although in beauty school, I'm pretty sure we did learn about that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that were like medical related that we learned. Yes. And it's like, even though we are not licensed medical professionals, we have to learn about certain things that we could say this could be indicative of, but I'm not a medical professional, so go to a doctor.
Yes. And that is just people sharing knowledge. That's what humans do.
If you have
little bits and pieces of knowledge.
But a beautician, someone that's doing a pedicure or something, like some sort of spa, whatever the fuck on you, they should not have to tell you, you have a foot fungus. You do not put your feet in the bowl. We cannot do a thing on you.
Right. But you've got some people that are truly that unaware of self. I mean, horrifyingly, for whatever reason, and some people are just pitiful. It's pitiful that somebody has not said, honey, you got you a fungus. Go get you some Vicks and some socks.
Yes, but some of them are very much aware of it. Very much aware of it.
And just don't care.
And just do not give a fuck. Yeah.
No, those are the ones I have no, that I can't even imagine going expecting somebody else. It's like, honey, you got a disease. I can't do that.
It's like knowing you have lice and sitting in someone's chair, which has happened before.
Oh ew. Oh ew.
Or it's like they know their child has lice and still bringing them into the salon, knowing that if it gets anywhere else, we would have to shut the salon down for a day or so.
Right, because that's a public health hazard.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's highly contagious.
Yeah. Yeah. and having
My
to
God.
disinfect everything
Everything.
from top to bottom, in and out. I hated it.
Humans. And it just takes a few like that to ruin things for everybody else. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
that's why malls shut down.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. But back to what we were talking about before we go too far around the mulberry bush. Dr. Grok. He made the image as Dr. Grok. And if you notice that there on the little cups of coffee, it says Dr. Grok. I do not look like AOC, by the way, by no means.
No.
No way. I don't know why he thinks that. I don't know.
You look like Mama.
I'm a little Appalachian lady, a little mountain woman. I am very typical for this area. There's lots of us. Mixed heritage. I mean, Appalachian people have a very distinctive look, and it's regional. You can tell little different pockets of peoples.
You know what? Yeah, that's true. It's like, oh, okay.
And we do have a rough look to us. You do not come here looking for elegance, because you will not find it. It's a different type of elegance.
Yeah, it's still an elegance, but it's mountain elegance.
It's boots on the ground all the time. And it is just because that's how
Stress.
it has to be. It is stress.
Stressed elegance.
It
That's
is.
good. That's a subgenre now. Stressed elegance.
We'll make it a thing. It's like the mountain goth.
It's the dresses that are torn to shreds, but also look beautiful at the same time after they've been, like that one dress that lady. All that. How many months was it? 8 months that she worked on that dress and then tore it up.
Yeah.
And it looked better after she tore it up, and it probably didn't even take long.
It really did. It's strange. But we have these amazing tools at our disposal.
Mm-hmm.
And even with the cell phone, and I think you said Grok has its own app now.
Yeah.
Is its own search engine now?
Yeah.
Instead of Google.
Yeah,
You can Grok search.
I wouldn't say that it's its own search engine, but it's certainly its own app. Yeah.
So maybe some of these people, because
And the icon looks like Saturn.
yes, I did see that. As far as if somebody needs to ask a question, like, okay, my child's head is itchy, and I know this is not good for breakfast, but it is what it is. I'm gonna run with what kids throwing on the table there.
Well, you could say
Kid's head is itchy. I noticed there are small bugs. What is this? That somebody, that Grok could say, oh, you might want to go to the health department and have that child checked for lice.
Yeah, or like sharp but dull pain in left abdomen, lower abdomen. Something like that. It could be like weird, sharp pain, just sudden, quick, in left abdomen or whatever like that.
ADHD unmedicated.
No, but I'm saying that's what you could look it up as, for medical.
Not lice.
No.
That's not lice at all.
Mama, it's another example. We were throwing out examples. Shit now.
I did not wonder why I'm dizzy. I did not wonder why.
How was that dizzy?
Anyhow.
Asking it for medical advice, and you give more medical advice. Or throw out another medical example.
It can be a wonderful tool to help people learn. And it's like, God knows that the public schools are not, at this point, teaching people what they need to know.
No.
And the fact that maybe some of these people, if they understand they do have this tool, that can help them learn, just learn, period.
Yeah. Yeah. It could, honestly.
Because, let's face it, some of the people asking other people, depending on who the person is, you may get some very inaccurate information.
Yeah, you could.
Don't ask stupid people stuff. That, or if you ask somebody stupid something, you get what you get.
But no joke, I could see like robots with good AI being put in doctors' offices and doing the exams on
I
people.
do. I think that can. Think it's really going to revolutionize the medical profession for the better. I can see how it could help so much. And people's like, oh, people's been losing jobs and they'll be doing this. Society will have to evolve.
Yeah. It's like, but where would people go, you know? What
Well,
would they do
and
for jobs if AI gets so advanced that it's taking most people's jobs? What would they... Of course, then again, they wouldn't be able to do the job of a true artisan, would they?
no, not in a lot of ways. There will always be other jobs that need to be done. Different problems will always arise that need to be solved. That's just how that works.
Yeah.
I mean, we think about, and I had read something today which was most interesting that said that over in the Middle Ages, that serfs were supposed to work like 130 days a year. We're doing worse than the serfs.
Yeah. We've been doing worse than the serfs for a minute because they've been working us like slaves, like dead ass. And that is crazy to think that people only worked like 100 and some days, and now we're having to work basically the whole fucking year.
Well, it's
and
not
then,
even just that. There's no downtime.
Yeah.
The 40-hour work week has been the people are expecting people to be available 24/7. No. And I have had employers that were like that.
Yeah.
So it's not new. It's just, and if you own a business, yeah, there's no off switch on that because that is your baby.
Yeah, because, like, if you have one day that the shop is closed, that's one day you got no money.
Right. So you have to adjust for that. But even on that, I would say that if you asked AI, that it's like, okay, time management. How do I balance my time better? And it could give you options that you had not even thought of.
Yeah. Like, legit. I mean, that's just... I mean, even as far as, like, no joke, therapy, it gave me, like, coping skills that no one else has ever fucking recommended before.
Yes, because you're not stuck with the knowledge of one. You have the knowledge of the collective at this point.
And people can say, oh, but, like, AI is fallible or whatever because it's taken from what other people are saying, and sometimes they... But it can weed through what is true and what's not.
Yes, it can.
So... Because it has a way to validate that stuff, too.
Yeah. Now, as far
I don't know
as...
how, but...
It's also important to sit there and go, it is going off of data that we have in this moment. And even as far as the science that has been perverted for God knows how long. Until that is opened back up, it's what humans are going off of.
Literally, yeah. Yeah, fully.
People don't know what they don't know.
Exactly.
So,
and if they don't even know enough to properly ask a question, and it gives enough information to ask, proper questions finally.
Yes. Do you know how wonderful it was that I was able to talk to a healthcare provider? It's like, hey, I'm researching about methylene blue. He's so funny. He's like, it'll make you pee blue. And I'm like, oh, well, I can see that.
It's like, oh, that's nice to know.
Yes, because somebody had come during his medical training and stuff like that. Somebody had come into the ER and that their pee was blue. Now,
and so they had to ask, are you taking methylene blue?
And they found out why. I mean, it's just like Azo. Azo is over-the-counter medication for UTI symptoms and everything like that. And it's like egg dye.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
But people don't know
It's like,
that.
oh shit, what's wrong with me? I must be severely dehydrated.
It's hilarious. And it's like, are you hurt? Did you live? That's the thing. Did you live?
You know, it's like, this is going to get TMI, especially for the morning. It's like eating cotton candy that is blue.
Mm-hmm.
And then having blue bowel movements or something like that. And it's like, oh shit, I poisoned myself.
Those Gen Z people, they have no filter. None.
I didn't go into graphic detail.
God. Anyhow, it's interesting. It's such an interesting time to be alive. But
It is.
instead of panicking about the future, it's like, it's here. What are you going to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like any other tool. You don't worry about what somebody else is going to do with the tool. And if they standing right next to you, you better hope that if somebody swinging a hammer, they aiming at the nail instead of your head. Just be aware.
It's not a guarantee.
No. But it's still a tool. You can use it to build a house, or you could use it to destroy somebody's world.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty happy with, and as far as certain types of tests, you can't think to discuss with a healthcare provider everything.
No. Because, no joke, a lot of the time what happens when you get there, you may even write down some questions or whatever. Sometimes you forget what the questions are once you get there.
Yeah, and that's quite common. It's a reason as far as going in with a bullet point. I've done that before, have them just look at it and go, and lay it aside and not even.
Which is like, that's not a good...
No.
If they're not even willing to look at what you're putting out there as far as symptoms, not even willing, it's like, okay, so do you actually want to help people, or are you in this just for the check?
Right. Absolutely.
Your doctor, on the other hand, he seems to be very good. He actually genuinely seems to want to help you.
This one does. Mm-hmm. Whereas I wasted years with somebody that I thought was listening to me, and then, no.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always, it feels like a betrayal. And
it does.
It is a betrayal.
To an extent, it is. It very much is. I don't know.
And
it's not cool.
It's like, I'm not going to waste my time. If you go to somebody, if you have any kind of healthcare provider or whatever, if you don't feel like you're being heard, if you're not getting better, if you're not having results, go and find somebody else that will listen to you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I hate the term like, oh, you got to shop around for medical people or even therapists, but it's true, you do. Because not all, like you said, not all of them will listen to you. Not all of them will help you in the ways that you need.
And it's like, I always resented it's like the doctors that would come in and it's like they were doing you a favor. No, I'm the reason you have a fucking job.
Right. It's like, literally.
You work for me.
Yes. That is that profession, because you're helping people. You're supposed to help people. But if it's going to be like the other way around, it's like, no, dude. Like, seriously, the people that just go in there for the check, it's like, those are the people that are usually like, oh, I'm doing you a favor. Oh, I'm helping you. Whatever the fuck. It's like, no, you're not.
That attitude is the reason that I'm very, very grateful every day that God got me out of the medical, profession and field.
Mm-hmm. It's a blessing.
Yeah. It kept me out of jail. God has kept me out of jail lots.
Yeah.
And it's like it was this righteous indignation. It's like, that is a person, that is a suffering human being, and you would dare disrespect that person's beingness, their humanness, their life, to where you act like they're a bother or an annoyance or whatever. It's like, what the hell are you thinking? Why are you here? People need to do some as far as reflection, self-reflection, figure out what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like somebody was talking the other day. People have forgotten what it means to sacrifice. That there is, it's not everything about for the almighty dollar. It is a matter of doing things because it's the right thing to do.
Yes.
And sometimes that is a matter of self-sacrifice, that you may take less money or whatever, and it's giving of self to help the betterment of others.
Yeah.
And some people have never heard of that before. Because when you have a post-Christian society, you get what you get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is what happens when people go away from Christianity.
When they go away from God, and then they wonder what happened and why things are breaking down. Well, there you go. Go back to the origin. Go back to Creator.
Yes, because he will teach you everything you need to know.
Absolutely, and to lead and to guide. And just gratitude. And, you know, this brave new world. I say that in a little bit of...
I just don't want RoboCop in real life. You know?
God is already there.
I mean,
help
yeah.
us navigate through all this.
Yeah.
He's already there. He knows the end of the story.
He does. He does.
And to have faith and to hold on. Everybody's having paranormal and supernatural. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, you want to tell people where we're at?
You can find us on BitChute, Rumble, YouTube at Relenda's Cup of Coffee with Scream. Also check her out on X, previously known as Twitter, Relenda's COCWS.
Yeah, let's hope that I get some relief from whatever the hell
I saw
that I've had.
I saw where you responded to me on Twitter and I liked it, and it's like, oh God, she saw me ranting about EA and The Sims.
Did I say anything?
No, well you did. You responded, so.
But it wasn't any kind of. I responded.
It's like, oh Lord, she's seeing that I go on rants, and I'm just full on like, fuck you. She's full.
You are almost 26 years old. You have your opinion. You have freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
I am not standing in the way of that.
No, you're not. But it's like, oh fuck,
Now,
she saw me being really harsh.
If you had been totally unhinged, I wouldn't have put it on X. I would have went in the other room and was like, what the hell's wrong with you?
I thought about it. I thought about going completely unhinged on there before, and you know what? That's not a good.
Internet is forever.
You know what? It would have been funny though. So.
Yeah. Internet is forever. Do not put anything online or any place else that you would not want printed on the front page of a newspaper.
I sure as hell want fuck EA and fuck The Sims 4 and all its expansion packs right there headlining.
That's fine. You just have to have that forethought.
Did you see where I posted the price tag on Steam?
No, I did not.
$1,420 some for all the expansion packs and stuff packs.
Well, and that's where you have to, as far as your monies, is that for some people that's not, that may not be much money. For us, it's a tremendous amount of money.
That's a big amount of money to most people now.
Yeah, well.
Like dead ass, only a handful of people think of $1,000 and some as little money.
Well, and that's a matter of going back and relearning priorities. Do you want a hypothetical, pretend superhero suit, or do you want actual fuel in your vehicle?
This is coming from someone who also looks at a game that is 50 some cents, like 55 cents, and I'm like, that's still a little too pricey for me.
Well, and that's fine. But these are basics. This is small children basics that used to be taught that so many have not been taught. Mm-hmm. And that makes me feel really sad. Because it has done you all a disservice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a lot of life skills that we've had to learn later on.
I think there's a whole lot of y'all that's got frontal lobe damage. I truly do. Because that's the executive function. If I do this, then this can happen.
It's possible.
Yeah. So
Still need to get my brain scanned.
Yeah, still waiting for Bobby Kennedy to make a lot of changes. Anyhow, know that you are loved. Treat other people the way you would like to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cup.
Yep. Bye.